You move into the suburbs, it's a completely different way of living. You know, you've got these high fences.
I guess the suburban Joburg is a bit more lonely. For instance, I don't know who my neighbor is.
Remote control gates, electric fencing.
I don't even know my neighbor's name.
6 dogs, you know. Not the friendliest of dogs, by the way.
I can't even tell you the name of the person who's living next door to me.
Everybody minds their own business.
And you can't borrow sugar from your neighbor.
The suburbs, sometimes I find them very lonely. If on a weekend, Cape Town has got this terrible weather that it rains the whole weekend. Because you live with you don't know your neighbors, so you're actually cooked up in your own house. And whereas in the township, you maybe just go to the neighbor and you make some samp and beans, and you all sit together and gather up. So it's that whole sense of being that sometimes I think in the suburbs it doesn't exist.
This place can be very lonely. I've got white neighbors, I don't know their names. But it wouldn't happen like that in a township, you know. And I can't see myself buying all the things they have just to fit in, because that doesn't complete me.
I certainly don't want my daughter to think that her life is only in the suburbs. She's got relatives, she's got cousins, she's got uncles who are still in the township. And I think the role that we play, especially for us that have moved into the suburbs, is to make sure that our children do not forget where they've come from.
You know, when you're in South Africa and you haven't been to Soweto, then you were not in South Africa fully.
If you grew up in a place and most of the people that grew up there, you know about it. You know them and they know you. There's a certain sense of safeness that even though they can be criminals, they're criminals who know you and you know them. So
I think for me, the most important thing which I miss is that fact of the community, the sense of Ubuntu that you find in a township. In a township, you don't need a babysitter.
People still connect with the township, as I said, you know, once you move out, there's always something that draws you back.
Black diamonds. Moving out of, it's funny, they're moving out of the township, but they're in the township at the same time. As I say, every weekend, without fail, it starts on Thursday. They are here. And I think the reason why they're moving out of the township is because their needs are not catered for anymore.
What's the point of being successful if nobody can see it, basically? So, want to hang out in all the best spots. I think it's mainly human, but it's just the difference on how people do it. And you find that you have the money to do it, but it's where do you go for that? So ultimately you reach that point, you try to live that type of life, but then you miss the stuff that you grew up with. You miss the conversations, you miss everything. So you might go and hang out in Sandton or Melrose in all the best bars and whatever. But you'll miss going around the corner, you know, and buying 6 quarts of beer and sitting around a street corner with the guys and just chatting.